Hello and welcome back to the Lapdown Podcast. I was going to do something today where I was going to say hello in the, an appropriate way for the destination that we were. And then I realized as the countdown to the recording starting was happening, that I don't know what language they actually speak in Hungary. And then I definitely don't know how to say hello in whatever language that is. My gut says it's Hungarian, but that might also not be a language. But hello anyway, my name's Alex and Dan is currently Googling the language they speak in Hungary.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, and it would have been a safe bet of using the phrase Hungarian because that would be your logic, wouldn't it? You'd have been right 9 times out of 10, but on the off chance they might have spoken something completely different. And by the looks of it, hello in Hungarian is hello.
Oh, well, in that case, I've smashed it. I've absolutely smashed it. Let's go.
Nailed it. The thing is, just back yourself, mate. You knew what it was deep down.
Look, it's what I do. It's why people come to this podcast. How are you doing, Dan, anyway?
Hey, I'm good. You know what? I'm better for that kind of cultural lesson that we've had first up. Yeah. I'm glad I now feel a more kind of educated and whole version of myself. Now knowing that Hungarians speak Hungarian. Yes. I mean, who'd have guessed that?
And that hello is hello.
The fact that hello is hello. So it's a winning start to the podcast.
It is. It absolutely is. It's only been a couple of days since we last brought some podcast energy for everyone. There's been a lot seemingly that's gone on, sort of all of it largely inconsequential, I think. It's one of those where a lot seems to have happened, none of it's particularly groundbreaking, but there's quite a bit for us to discuss today before we go racing.
Like our podcast, that to be fair, doesn't it?
Yeah. There's quite a bit to discuss before we go racing for the last time pre a summer break.
Yep.
So where should we start? Where would you like to start? Should we have a little look at Budapest first, and then we can do all sorts of various non-racing related admin-y bits?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first question I think always throws back to you and it goes, do you like driving it on the video game?
Hungary, for me, is one of those tracks where I just can't ever picture it. And that might be bad, but if I said to you, Silverstone, you would immediately think,
Yeah. Well, no, to be fair, I genuinely believe I could sit here with a pen and paper and draw the Hungarian layout.
Okay. You're the other way.
But you know
Hungary.
I think
not great for an audio medium either.
No, true. But for the sake of an argument, let's kind of see what I can do. You talk for a bit, and I'll.
I was going to say, I've just said we've got a busy running order today, and you're now having arts and crafts time on an audio podcast. Dan is currently sketching the Hungarian Grand Prix layout, everyone, and the problem is, I don't know what the Hungarian track looks like, so I've got no way of knowing whether he's bang on or not.
Little chicane there comes round.
Here we go. He's doing his thing. But we are in Hungary, and the one thing I will say, while on the topic of arts and crafts time, I don't know what it is. Oh,
you've drawn the trophy. Miles away.
You've drawn the trophy there, friend. That's not a track layout. That's a trophy.
No, that. I tell you, anybody watching this, give me a mark out of 10 for that because I don't think that's terrible. It's not right, but I don't think it's terrible.
I think it's.
I'll take a 7.
I think it's the trophy layout that you've drawn.
No. Isn't Hungary where we got all the weird trophies where it's like porcelain and Lando breaks them and then doesn't Robbie Williams turn up and cry into a bucket?
No, that was Zandvoort.
Was it?
Yeah,
okay.
they have it. To be fair, I think Hungary has one of the best trophies on the calendar every year by a distance. Like
the porcelain ones are pretty.
Yeah, but they are porcelain classy. They're not. It's not a meme trophy. It's a genuinely nice bit of craftsmanship.
It's been made. It's fine porcelain, isn't it? It's not something that you've picked up in IKEA. It's something that's been crafted meticulously from the day the last Hungarian Grand Prix finished. Somebody has been working and painting on that 364 days, and to make it ready for the podium. I like Hungary. I think it's a fantastic circuit. I like the contours, the elevation changes for Hungary. I really like that. There are some genuine overtaking spots, which I think is quite nice. You get the old little switcheroo around turn 1 to turn 2, I think, unless that little bit in the middle of the straight counts as a turn, which it might do in Formula 1. We don't really know. And that's quite nice. That's good. The back end of it is a bit one by one follow the leader. But they've got a new grandstand this year, which they seem to be quite proud of.
The pit lane is all new and stuff, isn't it? Like the whole start-finish straight is sort of remodeled.
Do you know, and I don't know the GDP of Hungary off the top of my head, but it does seem strange to me that in 2025, Hungary has a Grand Prix that seems to be an absolute staple on the calendar. Like, what portion of their annual kind of governmental budget is going towards the FIA to make sure this stays on the calendar? Bearing in mind that they seem to be willy-nilly just stripping people of things here, there, and everywhere. Hungary?
Well, yeah, we're not generally an overly political discussion-based podcast because neither me or you really understand it. Okay. But I did see some sort of social chatter in response to the Hungaroring, which we'll come back to that in a second, by the way. The Hungaroring being like, look at our lovely new pit lane and all of our new start-finish straight buildings and our new grandstand, and look at all this, isn't it lovely? And all the comments were like, you shut down a children's hospital last week. You've got no money for this, that, and the other. Because I believe this was all sort of government and taxpayer. This was not like the Hungaroring as a private entity doing upgrades to their own circuit. This was the government, pumping it in. And I'm not going to try and get involved, I don't think, in a discourse of, public investment into private entities or all the rest of it. I mean, obviously they must see a return on it. Otherwise they wouldn't do it, either that or they really like the hospitality. But
and not the hospitals.
Yeah, I don't think they got the response maybe in the comments that they were expecting to get of, look at our lovely new building. But yeah, I mean, it is a weird one because not a big place, Hungary, in terms of population. And, they're not with all due respect to Hungary, not a major global superpower that you can see them having a lot of sway at the negotiating table. But yeah, I mean, hey, why not? I like Budapest. I've been to Budapest. They do those lovely fried flatbread things with like sour cream and cheese and garlic on it. Oh, yeah.
I've not been. It's a bucket list place. I would like to go.
Mate, you take make a pizza base, right? With like a fluffy dough in a pizza shape, sort of dinner plate size. Just fuck that thing into a deep fryer, right? Let it puff up and fry. And then when it comes out, slap a bit of garlic sour cream on it, a little bit of cheese that's sort of going to melt, but not really. Oh, I want to say they're called like Langosh or something like that. Get yourself there. Cheap weekend as well. It's a cheap weekend away. Get yourself over there. What I was going to say about Budapest, to stick with our theme on this podcast of really deep technical insights. I don't know what it is, but whenever we come round to the Hungarian Grand Prix, the team graphic designers just absolutely cook, because the race week posters for the Hungarian Grand Prix are always the best of the year by a distance. And I don't know why, but they seem to put so much more effort in when we get round to Budapest. And I like it because it's colours and it's pretty and it's usually mosaics and it's tiles and it's good. It's very good. Shout out to Alpine, who I think have got the poster of the round. It's not a perfect 10 because some of the font is too small to read, but it's very pretty. Well done, Alpine.
Good for them. You can't give 10s away. You can only give 1 10 in your career, is what I've heard. And
yeah,
we're early in this career. We've got a long way to go.
Yeah. Where do you stand on, and this is what I said we'll come back to in a second before. Yeah. How good is it when tracks have an actual name? Like Hungaroring. Like, that's just so much better than we're off to Baku. Like an actual track name, Silverstone. Oh, it's just... Yeah, I know that Silverstone's a place as well, but, it's there. Oh, it's good. I like it.
Do you know what's happening? And this is... like the old Pokemon evolution? You've started as a... I'm going to have to Google it because my Pokemon evolution thing's not particularly great. But you've started as like an Eevee because you started on DTS. And is that the little caterpillar-y type thing, an Eevee?
No, that's the little dog, little fox dog looking thing.
Yeah. So what's happening right now is you've invested, say, 5 years of your adult life into Formula One from DTS, which is fantastic for starters. We are a DTS supporting community.
Yes, we are pro DTS.
And what you're doing at the moment is you're just evolving from an Eevee into whatever the next kind of stage is from an Eevee.
You picked a horrible example for Eevee because Eevee only evolves once, but it can evolve into one of 8 different animals.
Oh.
Horrible example, but carry on.
Anyway, the point is still there. And what's happening is you're getting a bit warm and fuzzy and nostalgic about kind of things that have been there for a while. And it's happening. It's happening, and I like it. You might not want to admit it. You might not realise it yet, but it's happening. And I think, as you say, it is. It just is, because at the end of the day, we're on a trajectory that Spa-Francorchamps and Silverstone and the Hungaroring get wiped off the calendar, and we just go, and now we're going to Vegas, and we're going to go for the Detroit Grand Prix. It's happening. You're converting. Welcome to the dark side.
Now, I that was very romantic and positive, and I like it. I am going to slightly piss on it in the sense that if the Hungaroring was a street circuit, I would still fuck with the fact that the name was the Hungaroring, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's a traditional circuit. They just tend to have the names. And this came off the back of me saying. This came off the back of me saying I like the pretty posters they do this week. So I've gone from pretty posters to fun words, right?
Nobody's naming a 2025 circuit the Hungaroring, though.
No, because there already is one.
We're never hearing Crofty kind of turn up and go, the first ever Grand Prix at the... It just isn't. And I mean, Miami, it's just Miami. They've tried. Miami have tried. What do they call it? Like the International...
It's the International Autodrome. But that's shit. That's not a good name.
Just because there's probably a few mafia bosses kicking around in Miami, it doesn't necessarily gives you the absolute naming rights to give you a little bit of like Italian Spanish going on there. It's just Miami. It's a car park.
I think there's a lot of people that do speak Spanish in Florida, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think
of course
it's quite a Spanish-speaking area.
Yes, it just doesn't give you naming rights, though.
But yes, while I am happy for you to romanticize it, I just like fun words. I'm a professional writer. I hear words and I go, Hungaroring.
No,
so, yeah. But, yeah, to be fair, in terms of actual race preview, I don't, which is bad for an F1 podcast doing a Grand Prix weekend preview, I don't think we have a huge amount to preview as such. We're sort of going to roll on from where we were last week. There might be a little bit of rain about on Sunday, although it doesn't look anywhere near sort of what Spa was last week, and I think it's probably going to be in the morning more than the afternoon.
I reckon I'll give you a pretty good preview for it.
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be a case of there might be some overtaking into turns 1 and turns 2. Early, I think as the race goes on, they're going to find it so difficult to follow one another through sectors 2 and 3 that actually cars are going to get spread quite quickly. They're going to be overheating tyres. It's going to be a lot of race management. And I think that's kind of what we saw last year, wasn't it, with the old Lando Piastri type thing? And, you're going to need your teammate. Well, yeah, but if he can catch me up, I'll let him pass type thing. And I think that's kind of where we might end up being. Not necessarily with that same drama, but with the kind of nobody can actually get close enough to put together something. Maybe a bit of sogginess might make it a bit of excitement on Sunday, if, of course, it's kind of not too soggy that they're not allowed out to play. You know, primary school. I know you didn't go to primary school in the UK, did you?
Not in the UK.
No. Well, primary school in the UK, and I'll kind of paint a picture for you here. It's like you get to lunchtime and you want to go and play football in the grass, but it's been raining all day. And the teacher has to go out there and kind of with the hand just give the grass a little bit of a stroke. And everybody's looking out the window kind of going, can we go? And you either get, no, the grass is too wet, which is essentially what happened at Spa, or you get like a big thumbs up and all of a sudden you've got however many thousand children that they put in a classroom now in the UK primary school system rushing out there to play five-a-side football. So it's a bit like that.
I went to primary school in Australia and you had to wear a hat anytime you were outside the classroom, otherwise you weren't allowed outside.
I suspect wet grass didn't occur that often.
Rare. It's going to be an orange car that wins it, isn't it? Is the final thing to sum up. And as we talked about last week, it's not necessarily the banger of a season with other colours involved. But I think if I was to ask you right now who wins it on Sundays at Oscar Orlando, we'd probably have another 15-minute section of the podcast going through the various pros and cons of which one of the orange cars is going to win it this weekend. And that's a nice thing to an extent. I think they're both going to piss off into the distance, but at least they'll piss off together holding hands, and that'll be fun.
Maybe fisticuffs this weekend.
Okay.
Maybe.
You reckon?
Like
you reckon there's just something about the Budapest that put them up?
Turn 1's pretty tight, isn't it? Turn 1's pretty tight. Turn 3's pretty tight. If they get kind of side by side through there, assuming they qualify 1 and 2, which you'd expect they would do, but Max has got an ability to pull an absolute stonker out, hasn't he? You think there could be a chance coming together. It's not happened really yet this summer. The real kind of coming together. Maybe one survives, one doesn't. Maybe that's what kind of causes a bit of a spark through. Really and truly for the championship, if that was to happen, Oscar needs to perish and Lando needs to survive. Because I think if it's the other way around, there is a huge gap going into that summer break between the two of them if there's kind of a 26, 25 pointer added to the tally. So, we'll see. we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Before we move into other stuff, I have a little bit of apology business to dish out. We're doing an official lap down apology, and it's to Pearl on YouTube. Hello, Pearl. Pearl pointed out, as we are the official podcast of Formula One drone camera action.
Oh, yeah.
And we had some Formula One drone camera action in a very pretty way over the final chicane in Spa. And I will say...
Could we see it through the spray?
Yeah. And it was very pretty and it was very effective. And we didn't talk about that on last week's podcast. And Pearl was upset about that because Pearl was waiting for it. So this is an official apology that the official pod of official drone business did not make an official statement on that. And my official statement is, it was fucking good again. And a little bit of turn one Hungarian drone business.
Yeah, could work. I'll buy it.
Just say it.
Hey, we're an official podcast for a lot of things that we have absolutely no paperwork to confirm that we are official podcasts of.
Yeah, but it's like restaurants that say like best burger in Northamptonshire. It's like, how are we validating that? But the good news is, Dan, you can't validate that. There's absolutely no way to validate if we're the official podcast of F1 drone top-down camera shots. We just are. Just run with it.
Yeah.
It's official.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's official.
I mean, I think maybe the summer break's time for us to have a good conversation about Franco Colapinto as well.
You are trying to bin this bloke off. Every week you mention it. You want this bloke Gornsky.
I'm done. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Him and Doohan just holding hands down in 20th and 21st in the World Drivers' Championship.
But it's never been about on-track performance. That's the thing. So what I'm disappointed about with Franco is that I've not heard as much about what he's drinking and who he's shagging as I would have liked. Because if he could give me a little bit more of that or cause a little bit more controversy, then he'd be able to state more of a claim. But as you say, that's a summer break discussion. Pre-summer break, we all thought we were going to get silly season, and we're not anymore. Because Max is staying, Fred's staying. I don't think the driver lineup's now changed for next year, apart from Cadillac coming in.
No, I don't think it does. I genuinely don't think it does. I suspect the next thing will be that George has signed a 2-year extension at Mercedes, if that hasn't already broken. I don't think it has. I did have a quick flick through this morning.
But I think it was always one of those, wasn't it, that he's going to be staying if he stays.
And to be fair to everybody, none of it might have ever been a rumour. There might never have been a rumour. It might never have been a Max to Mercedes type chat. That genuinely might not have happened. It might have been complete fabrication from various outlets that have seen Toto and Max or Joss and Max within the same. Maybe they walked into the public toilets and one stood at one end of the urinals and the other one stood at the other end, and all of a sudden it's kind of secret meeting. To
be fair, Max and Toto both flew their private jets to a tiny Italian island at the same time on the same day, and you think, if you two were married, right?
Yeah,
we would be raising eyebrows at what was. This is your Coldplay moment. If it wasn't anything nefarious.
Yeah, but I think deep down, did we know that it was probably 80% in favour of everything just kind of carry on the way it was? They've done well, haven't they, to kind of elongate it for a week after Christian Horner, or 2 weeks after Christian Horner got the boot, to then all of a sudden turn around and say, I think it's time to say that I'm going to stay here for 2026 at least.
The suggestion is, and we've never known, the suggestion is that after Spa is when those contract back doors slammed shut based on performance. Yeah. So it might actually be not so much I'm staying and I'm so pleased to be staying. It might be I'm staying because I'm contractually bound to be staying. But he is staying. Either way, he said he's staying. He's then tried to play some PR mind games and started saying it was all Mercedes trying to cause distractions and whatnot. And it's like, it's not that. You've definitely been in Toto's office a number of times. And I could still see a situation if Mercedes nail the regs next year and are a dominating team. I could very much see Max Verstappen in black in 27. F1 driver sees out existing contract is the headline, which... wild that is a headline. Thoughts on Fred Vasseur staying at Ferrari? Because there was a small amount of scrutiny a few weeks back. There was some sort of general chatter in the Italian media that came out about, is he doing a great job? And now he's signed a multi-year contract extension.
I think they'd be able to get rid of him even if they wanted to anyway. I don't necessarily know how strict that contract would be for Ferrari. They've got a fair bit of weight behind them, haven't they? And a fair bit of cash kicking about. Just hasn't really worked this year, has it, for them? And I think there's one bit to talk about as a follow-on to that with regards to Lewis Hamilton, the fact he's looking forward to that summer break and needs to get away and get home and see friends and family. And I mean, it did also say in the interview, he said that it'll probably have a bit of a cry as well, I think, with kind of how hard it's been with the switch over from Mercedes to Ferrari. It's just been hard work for them. I don't think, and I genuinely don't think, many people with 2025 would have predicted the fact that McLaren would have just absolutely walked away from everybody this year. It could have happened, like there was a chance, but in equal measure, it could have been Ferrari that walked away from them. But everybody upon everybody thought we were going into this bumper season, that it was going to be people taking points off people every week, and we were going to go into the end of the season, there was going to be, say, 2 or 3, maybe 4 drivers that could have won the World Drivers' title. There's 3 teams battling for the World Constructors, and it just hasn't happened. But the thing I haven't been able to work out is, yes, they're a long way behind McLaren, but is it because McLaren have taken 13 steps forward and Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull have just kind of stayed where they were from last year?
Yeah, I think it is, because and so I was having a chat the other day with a mate that he's one of these people that if he sits down because he's got nothing to do and the telly's on and it's 5 lights on and away we go, he'll probably sit and watch the entire F1 race, not necessarily knowing what's going on and not hate watching it as such, but he doesn't plan out that if it's on, he'll watch it.
Yeah.
And I had a good probably half-hour discussion with him about where things are at, and he was saying, but it's always the same people that win, and McLaren have already won it this year, haven't they? And I had to sort of explain that, yes. And he said, well, that's pointless then, because they're so much better than everyone else. It's like, yes, but, and I think it's something that maybe gets lost a lot of the time, and it blows my mind still. Any time I have this mental sort of gymnastics thought of it. Average F1 track is like 3 miles long, right? Give or take, for a lap. And these cars are completing that within 0.1 of a second of each other on a consistent basis. That's not that was close together. We're talking a 1/10 of a second, sometimes even a 100th of a second, and we're talking that sometimes over 50 repetitions. That's fucking insane. So the fact that when we're talking dominance, we're talking about going around 3 miles, 0.3 of a second quicker consistently than everyone else, just still, I cannot get my head around that. And I think McLaren are slightly spoiling our F1 love-in, because if you still look down that timing chart, particularly with quali times, we're so tight all the way through. There is no real performance drop-off, even into the midfield. It's quite a linear ranking through, drivers 1 through 20 in the field in quali, and obviously different things happen in the races. So I think McLaren are making everyone else look worse, and I think if you played the game where let's just disqualify McLaren and take them out of it, I think it is probably banger city. It's just that thing where there's such dominance that all we're really seeing is McLaren on the broadcast, and we're not seeing what's going on the rest, and that same discussion isn't there. That I don't think you could argue that Ferrari are doing a bad job this year. I just think they're being shown up and having their trousers pulled down by a bright orange team led by quite a loud American bloke that are doing a very good job. And it's not Fred's fault that another team are doing a very good job. And I think the other consideration is new regs next year. I don't think you want a new TP year one of a major regulation overhaul. I don't think that's good business. I think there's value in consistency.
Yeah, I would imagine he's probably already had a good look through, and they're planning ahead to 2026 already, haven't they? And a lot of it is going to be under his direction. So to suddenly kind of turf him out and bring somebody else in with what? Well, we're August now, aren't we? Which is mental.
It's not even 6 months. Well, it's kind of 6 months for testing, but it's not even 6 months sort of thing.
5-6 months away from the actual new calendar year, and you suddenly go, oh, okay, well, it's a bit silly, isn't it, to turf them out? So, yeah, good for him. I think I quite like him as a bloke. Yeah. I think he's quite good value. Just under a bit more pressure this year than what he was last year, so I don't necessarily think we've seen the best of him, but yeah, good on him.
Yeah, it's harder to go around like pinching bums and spraying champagne on people when like Lewis Hamilton's out in Q1 again. Like it's like Fred, let's save that for like a double podium or something. Like let's just keep head down.
Yeah, time and place. Time
and a place. Should we talk a little bit about some naming stuff and some sponsors? Because there's a couple of bits of movement there. What's going to be the Revolut Audi F1 team next year? Yeah. We go from Steak Kick Sauber Audi project to Revolut Audi. I might call them Revo all year, because that's about as Australian as I can make that team.
I tell you what, Revolut have done well, haven't they? From like chucking a couple of quid at some YouTubers to use a debit card every now and again to now, we're title sponsors of Formula One team. I think that to me, how much money does it cost to run a Formula One team if a superpower like Audi in the motoring world almost need to bring in a title sponsor to make this happen? That's wild to me, and I don't know how much it'll be worth. I suspect a fair whack to give away title naming rights, but for someone like Audi, who already own half a dozen, if not more, other car brands around the world, and when you drive down the motorway, you don't see many of them that aren't actually affiliated to that VW Audi group. To then go, we definitely need to bring in a title partner here so that we can actually make this happen. That's mental. But no one's going to call them Revolut. No one's going to acknowledge the fact that Revolut are a thing. They're just going to be called Audi, and that's the way that it is. Nobody calls Ferrari Hewlett-Packard Ferrari, do they?
Nope.
No one, whenever they call Mercedes, they don't go Mercedes AMG Petronas. It's never the full name. So
no,
I don't know what
you're paying. You still call them Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah. Tell you the truth, I don't know what you're paying for, Revolut.
No, I assume some like rear wing business. It's all sort of just it's a way in, isn't it? And then Aston Martin have sold or are looking to sell their stake in the Aston Martin Formula One team, which sounds a lot more dramatic as a headline than the realities of it, because the reality is they own about 4%. So it's not exactly something outrageous. But it does bring up questions of whether they will still be able to come to sort of some like licensing agreement for the name and the color and stuff, or whether at that point are we rebranding again to like Strolly Boys F1 team, the Strolls and Strolly Saudi Business F1 team, or something like that. So I think it would be a shame to lose the Aston Martin name, because it's kind of a cool name to have on a grid, and it would be a shame to lose the green.
Yeah. I think, isn't it weird, isn't it, the fact that when you see cars, you want them to have names of cars?
Yeah.
Which is peculiar when you think about it. And I know they don't look particularly like cars, but ultimately they are cars. So, as you said, to suddenly kind of take away Aston Martin and replace it with what's the Saudi investment fund, PIF or something, PIF Racing, you suddenly go,
Piff.
That's got slightly less of a thing about it. I mean,
P1 for
McLaren. Yeah, Piff F1.
Yeah,
Piff 1. Piff 1. Just put it in one. I wouldn't want to see Aston Martin go, but Aston Martin has only really been a mainstay of the grid for the last couple of years, isn't it? It's never really been early days, yes, but it's never really been Aston Martin's kind of thought process behind it. If they've gone motor racing, they've normally gone to Le Mans, and they've done things pretty well over there with various GT3, GT1 cars and things in the 60s with like the DBR DBRS1, DBRS2s and DBRS3. So yeah, maybe Aston Martin, it's not really on their roadmap. They've probably enjoyed their time. They've had some good hospitality, I suspect, around the world, and they've entertained people well. But yeah,
does Lawrence own? I think Lawrence is invested in Aston Martin itself as well, which is probably where that connection has come from.
So they almost sell a stake that they own, but keep a big stake because they're owned by the person that owns the other team, type thing.
Yeah, he's a part owner and executive chairman of Aston Martin as a company, and then also owns the Formula One team for his son specifically. Right. I have one last little bit of business, which was actually something that I saw and had missed from the Belgian Grand Prix before we go and spin some wheels for some names.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got something?
No. I was waiting for your...
Oh, you're on bated breath.
Yeah.
got a lot of time for F1 drivers fingering each other. Is the yep. It just feels like we're getting a lot more fingering going on during overtakes, and I've got a lot of time for it.
Oh, okay. Because I've just Googled that, and Keir Starmer asked me to show my driving license.
Yeah, turn a VPN on. But we've got another one in Belgium. We've got Ollie Bearman, of all people, sticking a finger up at Yuki Tsunoda on a last lap overtake, which, if you haven't seen it, go and seek it out, because they've done Eau Rouge and Radion, right? And it's just one of those classic long drag sort of overtakes. It's quite a long fingering, and it's also quite a late fingering as they get into that chicane. Now, as someone that has spent plenty of time on the F1 game, I am keeping both hands firmly on that wheel, right? And he is coming in towards this chicane.
I was most worried about where this podcast was going there. As a man who spends a lot of time, stop.
Yeah.
And where does it go from there?
I'm going to say, I love to see it. I love to see it.
All right. Who do you think on the Formula One grid is the best fingerer?
Now,
who has the best fingers?
Liam Lawson came in with energy early, because that felt like a rogue one, because it was like, oh, you probably don't have finger credit yet, I don't think. I think Max Verstappen's got finger credit, right? He's got plenty in the bank.
Yeah.
He can pull them out, right?
I think Max goes full wrist. I don't think he worries about fingers.
I'm surprised that I thought Oliver was a good little British boy. I didn't expect to see this kind of ill-mannered behaviour from him, but maybe this is the killer instinct he's got coming through. Maybe he's found it. But there's just something so childishly funny about you're driving at 200 mile an hour in a genuinely high risk, high danger situation, and you've taken a hand off the wheel to just be like, oi, 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 have some of that. And it's like, I love it. It's so petty and so childish. I love it. Yeah. Keep doing it, please. Keep fingering each other.
I can't speak for everybody. But I would imagine a fingering at 200 mile an hour probably isn't that high on the list of what people are after.
Do you even notice it? Do you even notice being fingered at 200 mile an hour? Are you looking for it, or is it just... I just feel like it's a sort of single-party act.
I mean, one way or another, you'd hope you'd notice, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I don't know if they are. I don't know if they are.
What do you reckon they do at the end of it? Just like Yuki pop out the car and go, why did you finger me up at Eau Rouge? Is that the conversation?
It's a great question. Do you discuss it afterwards?
Exactly. I mean, yeah. Because
they must know. They'll see it. Even if they didn't see it live, they'll find out that it happened. They'll find out that they get fingered because it's all over social media.
Yeah. Liam, did you finger me going into turn one?
Yeah, I did. And I'd do it again. So, look.
I thought you did. Next time, be careful, because I might finger you back.
Yeah. These are the questions that we have on this podcast, and this is what people come to this podcast for.
Highbrow, isn't it?
Absolutely. Should we spin some wheels and pick some drivers, son?
Yeah, let's spin it. I think you get first. You get first off the board this week.
Okie dokie.
Which might be good.
Shuffle. It might be good, it might be so. That is the fun of the Random World Championship. Right. I've got a small lead still, don't I? And you want to carry a lead into the summer break, I think.
Oh, that's
Stop on Charles, not Fernando. It's Fernando.
Yes. Okay. In there. That's what we love to see.
That hurts, because I've gone past a Norris and a Charles who nearly got his first run out of the garage, and I've instead landed on Fernando Alonso, which is not what I needed.
Good for me.
It's better for you. It's certainly better for you. Right.
Better for me. Better for the viewers. Better for the all-round kind of competition, because we don't want this to be a 2025 Formula One World Championship where McLaren just disappear off in the distance. No. We need this to be a nail-biter, because this is what people tune in for.
Absolutely. Here we go. Oh, okay. Oh, tell you what, it feels like we've had a slight wheel update, and it feels like there's a little bit, it's been lubricated. There's less friction on the wheel, I think. It seems to roll further. Andrea Kimi Antonetti. One of the two. I said Antonetti as well. That's also not his name. I've had a shocker all around. But you've got Kimi, which I don't think that's bad. I think that's, at least the car is capable of getting into that top 10 as long as he sort of drives it with some effort.
And now that Max has finished kind of cock teasing people, then hopefully that might be a little bit of a reset for Kimi.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know. I tell you what, I'm not excited.
But not upset is the main thing. Oh, Max Verstappen. There's, again, for the people listening to the audio pod, on the wedge coming up is a Verstappen, Piastri, Norris triple banger. And I've got Carlos Sainz, which at the start of the year I would have been quite pleased with because I think he's a very good driver and that car is showing good signs. On recent form, not great. Is that also the first time that someone's been Carlosed this year?
The first Sainz appearance of the year.
There's been much Carlosing.
Let me check the stats.
Get into the Boffin stats. I don't think. Yeah,
that's the first Carlos Sainz appearance of the year.
Nice to tick him off. Right, and the final driver for this week's Random World Championship for Dan Jads. It's going to be lime green.
Christ's sake.
Oh, it's just ticked over into a nominee for official preferred driver of the Lapdown Pod. It's Gabriel Bortoleto. It's not a great set of spins again. I don't think either of us have got anyone from the top 10 from last week. Did Bortoleto sneak a point in, maybe?
I got 2 points from Bortoleto in the feature race and 1 point from Hajar in the sprint.
Okay, so we've just about got a point scorer.
Do you know, the last time I reckon either of us had a driver in the top 10 of the World Drivers' Championship was probably you with George Russell back in Austria. Because since then it's been Bearman, Gasly, Stroll, Alonso, Hajar, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Antonelli,
I've got you with it now.
Bortoleto, Alonso and Sainz.
Wow. The wheel is cursed. It's had an update and yet it's still cursed. Stunning. Right. That's us looking ahead to the Hungarian Grand Prix. And then we've got a little bit of summer break business. We've got a couple of ideas of things that we want to discuss. But if you have other ideas of things you'd like us to discuss during that, you can email lapdownpod@gmail.com. And we will get to that over the summer break. You can follow us at LapdownPod on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and watch some stuff there. You can go and watch Dan be all West Indian over at
Dan Jads on the internet.
That's that one. All of the internet. Every bit of the internet.
Every single part of the internet. You can
actually, the summer break comes at quite a good time for you, doesn't it? Just a little bit of life admin chat for people that don't know Dan's cricketing exploits. He's off to be an ambassador for the Caribbean Premier League. So if you'd like to see Dan doing a whole load of great content with palm trees in the background, you should be following Dan Jads. That's the thing you should be doing.
Going on.
Yeah,
it's coming a good time. We'll do a review of the Hungarian Grand Prix, won't we? And then
we will.
And then I'll be packing bags and things, which will be quite exciting. So, are you Are you still building roads, or have you moved?
Still building roads. Still building roads. Building theme parks as well. Twitch.tv/HaloVitalics if you want to watch that. And in the meantime, enjoy some racing on the weekend. We'll be back for a recap at the start of next week. Share it with a friend. Leave us a review. Hit follow. All of that good stuff. And we will see you next time. Do it a pip.
Lovely job.